Hello, this is Curtis Crowe of CroweStudios, and here we're going to show you some sample photos of the 100mm f2.8 macro L lens.
Alrighty, so let's get started. Now, the first image I decided to use today was actually definitely my most boring image that you'll be seeing out of my 15 images of sample photos. It is a Disney watch, very rough material for the band, and that's what I was trying to illustrate was how coarse this band is. Now, with the 100mm f2.8 macro lens, when you get really close to your subject, because of the way that the optics work, the closer you are to your subject, the thinner your depth of field is. So when you shoot at 2.8, and at the distance I was, literally this depth of field is as thin as a thread of hair, or a strand of hair. Now, if you look at the ISO, the ISO is just off the charts. 25,600 is considered unacceptable. You can even see in the YouTube video just how much grain there is, and if you were where I am now, it would be just making your eyes bleed. Now, this was taken indoors with the windows open, and I believe just a house light on. So there was light there, and it was plenty of light for a normal photo, but when that macro lens shifts the glass in order to take a macro photo, you lose a lot of light. So you have to be mindful of that. If you're planning on just shooting around the house, you're going to need professional gear. And if you're thinking about shooting macro like in a studio or something like that, and you don't have flash or strobes or high-end flashes and strobes, it's not going to work out well for you as far as picture quality and being able to get that depth of field. Because this again is at f2.8. You take off 4 or 5 stops and get it to f16 ish. I mean, you're losing an insane amount of light that you have to compensate for. Now, getting into photos, here's a portrait shot. Again, the depth of field on this is very thin. You can tell she's got some right here, some threads of hair that are in focus, and this eyebrow is not. Some in focus hair here, but not here, and a little bit on the face here. So it's very thin shooting at this aperture, which can, for portraits, be very desirable. Now, the sharpness on this lens is insane. We're shooting at f3.2 on 100mm, 1,250th of a second at ISO 100, and you can see every strand of her eyelashes. You can see me in the photo. You can see the details in her eyes. You can see the mascara, little pieces of mascara that have fallen off her eyelashes, which you'd be able to quickly edit that out. But that's just a lot of detail. And if you look, everything is silky smooth. I mean, the bokeh is like butter with this lens. I mean, I thought the f2.8 200mm lens that I reviewed earlier was a bokeh machine, but no, this is an amazing lens. Here is a post. It has some rope on it. Here are the strands of rope. You can see all the little sub threads coming right off there, and you can see the larger strands back here, and a lot of detail right here. The bokeh right here is very smooth, very beautiful, very golden, and it gets a bit blurry back here, but it still looks good. But anything past this point right here, it's gone. All detail is it's not there. It's a backdrop, basically, and that may or may not be your desirable look. And this is definitely a multifunctional lens. This would be good for weddings. It'd be good for portraits. Let's see here. Let's look at the bark on this post here. Bark is one of the my favorite things for testing image sharpness on a lens because of the coarse material. It's very good to see the details, very easy to see the details, and then just the amount of bokeh. I mean, we're only talking like a couple inches away from the post here, and it's just melting away, and then it's gone. And it's gone! We got some green and some blue here, which is some interesting colors. But that's pretty much it for that photo. Let's go over here. Oh, we got a twig and some leafiness of a tree. A lot of color. This is unedited. If you were to pop a little extra saturation or anything else like that in there, you would get an amazing amount of color in there. This one is slightly edited, but it was really cool how we got all the little cotton balls. Almost looked like it was snowing, but it's middle of summer. Next image. Oh, okay, this is another one of the ones that is not edited. Just showing the sharpness at different distances. I mean, this thing was pretty far from me, and the 100 millimeters was able to zoom in really well on it. And let's see if we can get. It's about as close as we can get. That's a 1 out of 1 zoom, and you can see all the little whiskers. You can see all the little threads of hair, just like that 200 millimeter f2.8 lens. A lot of detail there. You can see his dirty teeth. And that bokeh, again, in the background just melts away. We got a lot of detail, a lot of coarseness in the rocks, which is what we want. And then we got a lot of soft, beautiful background, which is very desirable for a lot of people. Now, would I use this for landscapes? No. Although this kind of looks like a little bit of one. I couldn't really get down on the rocks. The rocks weren't really stable. Not to mention there are animals living down there, as you've seen from the previous picture. But for what I could do for this photo, just showing how well the water comes up, how well light shows up. Let's see, let's go to the next photo. Alright, so this is glasses, as you can tell. And it had little rhinestones, bedazzling doodads on here. At f14, as you can see here, it definitely makes the solar flare sparkle from her glasses a very interesting and honestly pretty desirable look, if that's what you wanted to focus on. If this was something like we're focusing on her face more, then it wouldn't have been desirable because it would only be distracting. But in this image, the glasses is what we want to see. Now, I did not touch up the image at all in this particular photo, so there's a lot of detail here that you'd normally get rid of. And if you, again, that bokeh in the background, it's not, a bunch of spears or anything else like that. It is literally just milk. It's a dairy product. It's smooth. It's like water. It's like a water painting in the background. That's beautiful. And this is definitely a very good portrait lens if you're looking for that. Now, I couldn't do a macro review without getting a couple bug photos. Now, I want to say this. If you think that you're going to be immediately after buying a macro lens taking amazing pictures of bugs, you may honestly, but there's a lot more to it than just buying that lens, putting it on the camera, and taking the picture. That's exactly what I did with this. I put it on the camera, pointed at a bug, took a picture. This is a fish fly, by the way, for all the people that don't have these out by you. They literally come in swarms of trillions. They live for about 24 hours, and then they die. And they make a popping sound when you step on them. But that is besides the point. We do have some detail here and some detail here. But everything else has just been, even his head, his tail, everything else has just gone in the shallow depth of field from this lens. If I wanted, and if you look at my settings, 1/80th of a second at 160 ISO. I mean, there's not a lot of leeway in there. I mean, if I wanted to bump the ISO up to 400, could probably get maybe an f5.6. But then again, I'd probably still have to mess with the shutter speed a little bit. And again, that's if you're looking to take awesome magazine quality photos just by attaching a lens and shooting, you're not necessarily going to need that or be able to do that with this lens. And it's not the lens's fault, it's just macro photography. There's not a lot of people that I think that have a good idea what macro photography is. You need a lot of flash, you need a lot of definitely stabilizing gear because you're so close. The slightest movement can destroy your image. I mean, there's a lot to macro photography. Here's another one. I decided to mess around with the settings a little bit. I was able to get an f6.3 at ISO 2000, and composition could have been a bit better, but this shows a lot more of the detail from the bug itself, and you actually see details in its wings. I can't see anything insanely detailed in the eyes or anything, but again, this is ISO 2000, and I don't know if you could tell in the YouTube land, but there's also a bit of grain in this image, which it's enough that you can clear up in post, but still starting to get grainy. And again, this is without adding flash. You have to have additional equipment if you're looking to do a lot of macro work, a lot of real close images. Here's another portrait, F2.8, and again there is a lot of detail. Look at all the hair. Look at all the detail in her eyes. Very nice photo, especially with her hair. How the strands of hair have a great amount of detail here, but then her hair in the background kind of melts away without actually looking too obnoxious or bad. And that background, that's just amazing. I mean, like I said, I've shot a lot of different lenses, and I have to say that the 100mm f2.8 has to be one of my favorites for bokeh. I'm going to be getting my hands back on the 85mm 1.2 and this coming up week, actually. And you'll be probably seeing some sample videos in the upcoming weeks from that. Alright, and then the final image is more or less for you pixel peepers. I have 3 images. One that is shot at wide open, which is right here. An image that is shot at f14. And an image that's shot at f8. So you got 3 apertures. You can zoom in on there and take a look at the different photos and see where the aperture sweet spot is, which in my opinion it was f8. Because all the chromatic abrasions is gone. The sun flares look nice, and the sharpness of the image is still there without actually starting to lose sharpness in your image like you get with the f14. When you pixel peep on there, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So I hope this was helpful. If you're thinking about getting the 100mm f2.8 L lens, I do honestly recommend it for portrait photographers and anybody that is looking to get into macro. If it's your first time getting into macro, it's really hard to say because, again, you need a lot more than just a lens that's going to make you take amazing photos. I'm not saying you can't take amazing photos with just a macro lens, but, again, if you want certain effects and certain looks and what they have a lot in the magazines, you have to add a lot more light than what a sunny day can provide for you. And if you're looking to do anything indoors, you're going to have to spend a lot of money on lighting equipment. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this helps to make your decision, and I want you guys to leave comments to let me know how I can improve on these sample videos. And I'm going to have an additional review in the future, and I hope you guys like it. Like, share, please share this. Any of your photo outlets, any forums you guys go on, let me know what they are. Share them on there if you can. And most importantly, subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you for watching that video. Please like and share this video. There will be more content on the way, so definitely subscribe, and thank you for watching. Toodles!